Round two. Here we go. Go away, stupid notifications on my phone. I'm trying to pour my drink. All right. More comics. So, in case you're wondering, kids, don't try this at home. I am done after like a super long extra shift at work. And I want to review some comics that I've been reading over the week and been thinking about all week. Here we go. Red Hood and the Outlaws, Volume 2. Is this thing ever going to stop, like, talking to me about, like, cannot verify server or whatever? All right, so I love Red Hood and the Outlaws. It was one of my favorite comics last year. I had a rave review for Volume 1. Volume 2, it kind of felt like they went to, like, hey, let's do some little extra stories with some of our, like, not Dexter Soy artists. So Dexter Soy is, like, a top-tier talent, and, like, no disrespect meant to Miko. No, it's going to say this the entire time, isn't it? Cannot verify server. Is this the end of the normal Marmaduke fan show? Okay, we soldier on. So, Mirko Kolak doing the art, which I take means he's doing like inks and pencils based on Tom Derenick's breakdowns. You know, it's solid. It's kind of got a fun, sketchy style to it, but maybe it's got a little bit of straight on syndrome to it, like a lot of like looking straight at the person's face, and he's no Dexter Soy. So they do some like little fun extra stories, like you know, I guess my big thought about Red Hood and the Outlaws is it's kind of the problem with superhero books in the modern age. That isn't attributable to like SJW politics. So SJW politics in comics is kind of like the big theme of the past, I'd say like 2 or 3 years in Marvel or DC comics. But there are other problems with superhero books apart from that, like death not mattering. Like Jason Todd died in 1990s. It felt like a definitive death. They used to joke that they would never bring him back. And now that they brought him back, like, does death not matter at all? Is there any consequence to that? And the writers are actually kind of doing an okay job of like treating that as a traumatic event in his life. It's something that scarred him. It's something that's hurt him, and he's trying to recover from it. But like the whole time I'm reading, I'm thinking, well, should I really be invested in this? Because death doesn't seem to matter that much. Like, why does Batman have the no-kill rule? Has this version of Red Hood ever killed someone, or did that get rearranged in one of the super duper events that erased the whole universe and restarted it? I don't know. And it was kind of like a tough issue for feeling like, man, I wish I was more of a comic book nerd so I'd understand some of these references, even though they're like at least trying to like catch me up and keep me interested. So there's like a fun little story about like whether he should kill Bizarro, because Bizarro is a Superman who's kind of like got brain damage, right? Like, what if he throws a tantrum and destroys the entire Earth? And basically at the end, like, Jason Todd decides, like, I'm going to go Batman's route. I'm not going to kill him. I'm going to give Bizarro a chance. Okay, it's kind of sweet. It kind of like begs the question, like, what, I don't know. Is Batman a character who's willing to kill people? Is he someone who's still limited by, you know, like the 1950s rules and the no-kill rule? I don't know. It just kind of floats the question out there. Kenneth Rockefort kind of has, what would it call it? Almost like a scratchy style, like lots of cool little pencil details. I feel like he was involved in some controversy. So here's another thing, like lesbians in DC comic books. Should we have lesbians for the woke rainbow LGBTQ points? Should we not have lesbians because like old boomers still read our comic books and they're actually our primary target audience and they don't like that? And I'd actually be okay with the Amazons being lesbians and being kind of battle axe feminists, because I feel like the point of them is they are mannish women. They're Greek, and the Greeks historically were much more okay with all kinds of like sexual activity than like Christian cultures were. So I'm actually okay with Amazons being lesbians and being feminists. I said that already, but I don't know. It feels like DC can't decide whether it wants to have like lots of lesbian characters or whether it wants to like keep that on the down low so they don't make parents mad. Like, pick a side, DC. Like, I'd almost be like more okay with it. Like, I as a right-wing Christian would be more okay with it if you just had like the chutzpah to have them kiss on screen or something, right? So Oh, and the other thing about it is, like, Kenneth Rockefort is doing, like, I call this super duper magic upside down backwards pen. Hold on, I need a drink, guys. Here we go. I worked my ass off this week. All right, so he's doing this thing where, like, there's broken glass, and the broken glass is, there's kind of like a motif of that being throughout the panels everywhere. But then the problem is, like, the fight scene ends and there's no more broken glass, and he keeps doing it for the entire issue. And this, when I joke about, like, backwards, upside down, diagonal, inside out panels, this is what I'm joking about, because it's a shtick for the purpose of having a shtick, not because it really adds anything other than literally just having, like, little shards and motifs everywhere. And Jason Todd, he's getting drunk, he can't handle his liquor. Artemis keeps roasting him. I don't know, like, I feel like Jason Todd should be almost as big a man as Batman, right? Like, if Batman is a guy that every woman on the planet would sleep with, including the lesbians, because be honest, lesbians, would you want to tell your friends, I had a chance to sleep with Batman and I didn't, right? So if that's Batman's alpha male energy, Jason Todd, half the women on the planet would be willing to sleep with him, right? Like, significantly less than Batman, but significantly more than most men on the entire planet. And yet he's kind of like this nervous little guy who Artemis is kind of always roasting him, and he can't handle his liquor. Like, make him a bit of a man. Like, have Artemis say, wow, for a man who I could snap between my two fingers, I really admire you for your courage and your force of will, right? Like, that I think would be a character dynamic I could get behind. I can't really get behind him, like, being a bit of like he feels like a little boy next to Artemis a lot. Okay, and then Dexter Soy comes back, and he's great, right? And he's got, like, all this crazy, it's fun. Like, they go into Karak, and Jason Todd has to, like, grapple with his emotions and his trauma, and there's this really cool scene where, in order for him to get over it, he kind of has to take responsibility for how young and foolish and stupid he was to put himself in a dangerous situation where the Joker could kill him. It's great. It's a really great scene that kind of makes the book. And yeah, then it's just kind of like a fun little adventure. Like I don't think for 1 second, not for 1 second, did I believe that Artemis's girlfriend wasn't going to turn out to be evil, because they literally had her posing on a throne with a giant axe. Like, don't have her pose on a throne with a giant axe and then expect me to believe that she's super good now. Like that kind of, like, tipped the hand on what was happening. And then there's, like, a really cool fight scene, and it catches you up for next time. So it's okay. Like, I really like Red Hood. This is kind of like a bit backhanded, because I love Red Hood and the Outlaws. You could almost skip Volume 2, I think, and then just get Volume 1, and then jump ahead to later to some of the great stuff they did later. I'm going to keep it. It's fun. Some of the art I was a little about. Most of my problems are actually problems with the superhero genre at large, and not really problems with Red Hood and the Outlaws itself. It's really good. Okay, Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider #1. This is so much fun. I was having fun the entire time I read it. Phil Noto is the illuminator, so I guess that means Marvel's making him do pencils and inks and colors. Good grief, Marvel. Give your artists a break. Like, pay them minimum wage or something. But it's okay. The art style, nothing about it really, like, stands out to me, except that he's got kind of like this cool, I don't know, like, grungy vibe to the faces that's kind of neat. And for me, like, the story is where it was really kicking, because, like, it starts, like, with a big hook. Like, Mephisto throws him right into hell, and, like, all the people drop into hell. And I've joked about this series, like, it's all heresy. Like, it's heresy if you look at it from, like, a Christian orthodoxy perspective. But I like it when people do crazy stuff with Christian ideas, and they just do, like, their own crazy take on it. So, like, their crazy take on hell is, like, the only way to stop hurting in hell is to hurt someone else, and Mephisto is gone, so that means that Johnny Blaze has a chance to go kick some butt and become the king of hell. And there's, like, this neat thing where he and the Spirit of Vengeance are separated, and the Spirit of Vengeance just wants to punish sinners. It doesn't think it needs Johnny Blaze, but is Johnny Blaze anything without the Spirit of Vengeance? Is the Spirit of Vengeance anything without Johnny Blaze? It's great. It's a whole lot of fun, and there's, like, a giant Elephant Man, and there's like super duper crazy trucks and monster trucks in hell, and they fight their way through hell. It's great. What a fun comic book. All right, Boba Fett, Age of Rebellion #1. Greg Pak wrote the story. Mark Lamming did the art. Lamming, it's kind of like that straight angle syndrome again. Like I feel he's got like a Boba Fett toy, and he like models that and draws it. Like, you know, do like the upsy angles, do the lowsy angles, do that kind of stuff. But it's he's got like some cool flow and detail to his style. And Boba Fett, right? So like the thing about Boba Fett is like he's the cool guy from the movies who didn't have much of a role, and then like all the fans were super interested in this mysterious character, and they accidentally created an interesting character. And ever since then, Disney's been trying to replicate that with like, it's Captain Phasma. She's got chrome armor. Aren't you interested in her mysterious backstory? And everybody was interested in just the random stormtrooper who had a giant club and said traitor. That was the most interesting thing about new Star Wars movies, is that 1 second traitor. So Boba Fett, right? It's great. It's a great story. Like he's silent for the whole issue, and it's basically like, Boba Fett. What makes a character like Boba Fett Boba Fett? He's a bounty hunter. What do bounty hunters do? They hunt bounties. They follow the code of the bounty hunters. And sure, they might hunt down murderers and criminals and thieves, but they don't care about that. They're all about getting their money, right? Like, great story. And like sort of silent action of him, you know, moodily exploring the town, and his Mark is like laying traps for him and trying to persuade him to like go against his principles as a bounty hunter. You're just like me, right? It's great. It's kind of like Samurai Jack. It feels like a Samurai Jack episode where there's like not reliance on like throwing a whole bunch of verbiage at you. It's just a cool Western setup. And then they got a neat little essay at the end about like how super duper nerdy cool Boba Fett is, and there was like the Boba Fett's interesting because there was like the pre-prequel era, and then the prequel era, and now the Disney era. And I don't care about the Disney era. I read the little short story that was supposed to be how he got out of the Sarlacc pit. I remember the writer saying he got censored, so he didn't like that story because he didn't like how they censored it. But it was still a kickin' story and really an interesting take on the kid. My thoughts on Star Wars Legends is they are either the most garbage, trash fire, not even books I have ever read in my life, or they're very genuine, fun, excellent books that kind of live up to the Star Wars like legacy. So I'm probably gonna read some more Star Wars Legends stuff. Like as far as I'm concerned, I just don't care what the hell Disney is up to. So I'm gonna. The point is that Star Wars is a fun, weird genre franchise. And it's almost like once you start nailing these things down and making everything logical and have like a Wikipedia article for every single little battle, like where's the mystery anymore? Where's the craziness? Like part of the fun of a character like Boba Fett is he's kind of mysterious and he's a bounty hunter, right? But Wolverine is this. Like Wolverine became a popular character because no one knew his backstory, right? And now you know everything about Wolverine's backstory, right? Do you care about every little detail, every little fart that Wolverine had when he was 12 years? I don't care what farts Boba Fett was doing when he was 12 years old. He's a cool bounty hunter, right? And this actually kind of tapped into that. So, yeah. 3 good books. You know, none of them are perfect, but they are totally... Excuse me. Hold on, I need another drink. Here we go. Ha! I did it! I'm a wage cuck, but I'm paying off my student loans. I don't need no stinking old fart socialist to pay off my student loans. These are 3 fun books. I'm keeping them. #1 Marmaduke fan. I love you guys. Catch you later.